start again. It's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? It is Tasha. I am back with another review. Thank you so much for stopping into my channel. If you are new and you keep coming back and you not subscribed, why you not? What's happening? It don't cost you nothing. It's free. Okay? Thank you so much. If you are not new, thank you so much for stopping back by to my channel, y'all. We are back with another review of the Never Ever Mets. We are season 1, episode 4, and I really hope this is a one season show, y'all. I just don't see this going further past one season, because then it's not going to be authentic, and this season is already a mess enough. Okay, so we don't need it produced any more than it is already giving us naturally. All right, so let's jump into the episode, because the episode to me was actually decent this week. So the episode opens with some of the guys exercising. We also see Earring Aaron is doing the dishes, Jodi getting ready. Shay is wondering why Josh has curly hair on his ears. I'm like, can we not? We can find nothing else of substance to open this episode with? Okay. So we see Millie and Greg are talking. I just keep getting the vibes that Millie don't really like Greg. I could be completely wrong, but it's like she ain't all the way feeling him. She says that the kiss in the jacuzzi was awkward and she wasn't ready, and she really wants, things on her terms. Millie girl, that's not how relationship work. Things don't always happen on your terms. You can't have it your way or the highway. Okay? That's just, ma'am, no. I think the jacuzzi time was a perfect time to kiss. Like, it's you're close, it's a little romantic. You just wasn't feeling him. That's my opinion on the whole thing. He says he doesn't want to feel like he's rushing things. But they have known each other for 3 years after meeting on social media. Again, how are we necessarily rushing after 3 years and y'all live 30 minutes apart from each other? Okay, she says they need to figure out how to leave hand in hand and together. So, I guess at the end of the day, a win is a win. And if we have a couple that's having decent communication and focusing on themselves, I can't really be mad at it. So we then see Diamond talking to Millie. Diamond says she wants to talk to Sandia because everyone in the house can see how Chris and Jodi are flirting with one another. Diamond girl, you be in everybody's business. Who deemed you the house mother? I don't understand. Just because you may be the oldest in the house does not necessarily mean you the wisest, or you should be, mothering and making sure everybody is doing okay. Okay. But I'll let you proceed because I don't mind the drama a little bit. Okay. Diamond and Millie talks to Sandia. She says that they do feel weird. Sandia says she feels weird between the interactions between Chris and Jodi. Diamond asks if she wants to say something, if they want to kind of say something to her. So basically almost like a ambush with Jodi. And she's like, yeah, but, kind of let me talk to him first. And Millie is like, because if she pop off, then I'm going to be ready. And Diamond is like, then I'm going to be taking my earrings and getting the Vaseline, and then I'm going to be ready. Keep that in mind for later on in the episode. So we see Chris and Sandia are eating. He wants to know what the girls wanted to talk to her about. She tells them it was what we were already talking about. So obviously she's already addressed this with him. Chris, of course, is telling her it's stupid. He's downplaying the whole situation. He tells her that she is jealous. And while she's telling him this, she's like, you don't have to bring me down. He's like, this is becoming annoying of us keep talking about it. Well, Chris, you were the one that kind of put it out there that you flirt a lot right out the gate. You got girls, you get girls, you ghost girls. Like, you put this energy out there. So, of course, Sandia is going to be on high alert of, let me make sure he's paying attention to me, or he's changed, or whatever it is. And you are showing her exactly what you are telling her with Sandia. I don't know why you don't see that and leave, honey. Leave. Because in this instance, in this very instance with Chris, the actions is matching the words, okay? So as they are talking, he calls Jodi into the room. Why he does that? Like, this is not the time or the place. You and Sandia are having a conversation together. Jodi comes in with Earring Aaron and says apparently everybody in the house think that we got something going on because we have a good connection. I'm male, you female. And he essentially is kind of throwing Sandia under the bus right in front of her face. And I'm like, dude, that's not how you treat the person that you want to be with, that you are here for. That's just Who does that? He asked Jodi, have I ever made you feel uncomfortable? Have I been inappropriate? And she's like, no. While she's sitting in the chair with Sandia and laughing about it. Earring Aaron says it's as simple as they like each other as friends. Sandia tells Jodi that it makes her feel uncomfortable. Jodi blames it on the other ladies coming to her and telling her stuff because she like, I'm not messy. I don't do that kind of stuff. Are y'all even listening to Sandia? Are y'all listening to the words that are coming out of her mouth? Because she's telling you she feels uncomfortable. We can visibly see in some instances where she looks uncomfortable, and y'all are just sitting here dismissing her feelings as if we can't see this and just blaming it on other people in her ears. No, like Sandia is not stupid. She sees what she sees and she hears what she hears, and y'all need to validate the feelings that she has. And the other people coming to her are doing that because they letting her know, girl, it's not all in your head. We see it as well. So I am really pissed how Chris and Jodi, and even Earring Aaron a little bit, is trying to play with Sandia like what she sees happening is not really happening. So all the couples get together. Tonda comes in. She pulls Greg and Millie to the side to do a little check-in. They've now been there for a week, we find out, and she asks how things have been going. Millie says a lot's been going on in a short amount of time. Greg says that she's amazing, but sometimes it's a little bit of fire and ice, but also he doesn't want a weak partner, and he can tell that Millie is an alpha female. Millie says she really trusts Greg, and she will be vulnerable with him, but in order to make that happen, that means she's going to have to reveal a little bit more about her past. And she says most men don't handle that well. So I'm like, y'all been together talking 3 years, living 30 minutes apart, and you still haven't discussed your past. Like, why are we getting so deep into things without discussing it? It's like if you avoid it, even though most men don't take this well, if I avoid talking about it, then I can just prolong the inevitable, or I can just act like it's not that big deal because we've gotten so many years in and forged a deeper connection. Like, it's just, I don't understand how they've been together so long and y'all haven't had deep, meaningful conversations about your past. Girl. But they have family visiting today, which will be Millie's sister, and Greg is bringing out the big guns, and he's bringing out mama, okay? Millie, she's obviously stated, and you can see she's been through some trauma as a child and as an adult, and she honestly needs a little bit more healing from that, probably before she jumps into a relationship. So all the guys are in a room talking. Chris is basically now having a little guys meeting, asking them how they felt about the situation between him and Jodi. Nail polish Aaron says it looks like it's something going on between the two of them. Chris' eyes get big. He starts yelling and he's like, we just being cool. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Aaron calls him out. We talking about nail polish Aaron. Aaron calls him out and says, yo, men do that all the time. Like, we talk about, oh, we being friends with such and such. But basically, you just trying to stay close so you can just wiggle your way in. And that is facts. Like, Aaron is speaking facts. Greg says that because, your girl, because Sandia has checked you, you just really need to be mindful and kind of pull it back. Here comes gaslighting. Chris says that's being insecure and basically saying, if you kind of let her get away with this, she'll get away with anything. No, it's not, Chris. It's called being mature and being considerate of your partner and not disrespecting her, at least at the bare minimum, in front of her face. Okay. Chris thinks that it's basically the women stirring up some things, which, i.e., we know he all talking about Diamond. Jodi, he identifies with her because Jodi is male identified. She relates to him when they were talking kind of, about relationships. I think it was on the very first day because Alexis and Dominique was still there. She was like the only female like dapping him up and agreeing with him. Jodi is male identified. So of course she's going to agree with a trash man like Chris. Okay. Josh also tells him that he thinks he needs to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. And the only person here that does not see an issue with how things are kind of being played out is Earring Aaron. And why is that? That's because Earring Aaron don't want Jodi either. So he don't care what the two of them doing. All right. Next up, talking to Tonda is Sienna and Brandon. And she says, she hopes that they're going into the conversation positive. Do you really, Sienna? Do you really? Sienna says that their platonic connection is good, but the relationship part is a little bit shaky. Tonda asks Brandon if there's a connection with he and Sienna. Sienna says yes. Brandon is like, some of her listening, part turns me off. And basically he don't know how to feel about that. Sienna says he's full of ish because he does the same thing. I don't know what y'all do off the camera, but I don't really see him behaving in the same manner you are, girl. Tonda calls Sienna out on not what she is saying, but her delivery. And she points out how Sienna has this masculine energy. She's been single. She fixed things around how she's taking out the trash. She has to take care of everything, but she has to really work on taming that down because it's like a wildfire and it will burn everything in its path. And Tonda, girl, thank you for being the voice of reason. Now, Sienna ain't really going to hear you, but thank you for being the voice of reason and actually being real with her. I like Tonda. Put a ring on it. I like her, okay? Sienna says that she needs to take it down a notch, if their relationship is worth saving, because she feels like it is worth saving. Now, when Brandon asks if this is worth saving, he says the romantic side is not worth saving at this point. And I agree. Y'all need to split ways and go home. We all know, if y'all looked at Sienna, when he said that, she had a problem with that. Like, you could visibly see her trying to check and control herself because she did not want to blow up in front of Tonda. But we all know if Tonda was not there, it would have been another blow up scene with him and Sienna, okay? Brandon says he said the right thing. And like I said, I really appreciate him for that. So back inside, the guys are playing pool. Brandon updates them on the conversation and tells them that he really doesn't see a romantic future between the two of them. Tonda asks, what it is that Sienna could work on as they were talking. And he said, I'm not attacking you. I'm not doing anything. I'm just answering the question. And I say this listening. And of course, Sienna does what Sienna does and pops off. Josh says it's not a surprise because Brandon and Sienna are like oil and water. And he's really appreciated how Brandon has handled himself, especially when she called him, a bitch the other day, that he didn't blow up and go off on her. Because Sienna gonna run into the wrong man that's gonna match that energy, and she not gonna like it, okay? So we then see Jodi and Aaron is checking in with Tonda. Jodi tells her, it's been cool with him. She said, but then it's been irritating because, other people in the house is saying it's something between, me and Chris. Jodi, the check-in with Tonda is about you and Aaron. Why are you bringing up the drama that's happening in the house? That's not what she's here for, okay? Aaron says, I don't really got an issue with it because I have a lot of female friends. Now do you, Aaron? Surprise, surprise. Surprise. No, we're not. Tonda says, y'all giving me the energy I have with my best friend. We cool. I sleep over here. He sleep over there. And that's exactly what they are giving. She asks if there's a romantic connection. And Jodi says, I think so. And he says he feels it's a connection as well. He thinks a few more dates will bring a deeper connection. And Jodi says, it just takes a while for me to open up. And, she's here and she wants to connect more. How are you wanting to connect more when y'all don't want to be up under each other? Y'all are fine not being in the same room, really communicating. Like, I'm not understanding how y'all feel there's a romantic connection going on here. We then see Millie's sister show up. Millie's sister show up like, child, after this, I got a date. So come on and talk about what we got to talk about because I got to go, okay? I'm trying to hit the streets. I'm trying to be outside. She tells her about Greg. And that, Greg says he's serious about her. Her sister tells her she needs to find a balance between finding her voice and respecting her partner because they won't agree on everything. Millie says speaking to Greg about her past trauma in relationships will get them closer as she's expressed that she has been abused before. Her sister is like, now I want to talk to Greg because I know how my sister is and I need to see the vibe that I'm getting from him. So the three of them sit down initially and the sister is like, you gonna stay here? You gonna be here? Because I'm not really here. I need to talk to him now, not you anymore. So Millie gets dismissed and she talks to her about her sister and she asks what he likes about her, and he says the biggest thing is that she is not a pushover. But her sister's like, but she has another side. So I'm feeling like Millie is showing us her representative at this moment, and there's another side of Millie that just may not be so pretty, okay? He asks what he needs to do to gain more access to her, and the sister's like, you just need to listen. Greg is like, I'm really not playing at this point in my life, and it sounds like he's really looking for a wife, and he's trying to make this work. Millie comes back in, and the sister's like, I feel like both of y'all are on the same page with things at the same time. We see Greg's mother then walks in. Greg looks just like his mama. He says that it's been 6 years since he's introduced his mom to a woman, and it's only happened one other time than it's happening right now. So it looks like Greg got all his chips in, and he is ready to see where things go with Millie. He tells his mom that they have bonded spiritually, they have a commonality of their parents divorcing, and that she challenges him. His mom says she's seeing the change in him, and she is really grateful and happy for him because she says she was a little bit worried. But Greg says he has changed, like him seeing her in person. I don't know if it's provided him with the reassurance that he had needed, but it seems like he's just, like I said, all in and ready to go the distance with her. So we go back to the intimacy suite, and who is in there? Surprise, surprise. Josh and Shay, okay? He's giving her a foot massage that he says he learned how to do off YouTube University. Shay is like, I am here for my man. I'm not here for the other couple's drama, and I can appreciate Shay. Like these two, while I was giving them side eyes because it's been 12 years and you got a 3-year-old, sir. These two is here for each other. Like you rarely see them when all the other couples are talking or the guys and girls are together. They don't really have much to say. They like, we here to film this show, and we done talking because I'm about to go back to my girl. I'm about to go back to my man. Okay, I'm not mad at that at all. Millie talks to Greg's mom and tells her that she's really raised a stand-up guy. She did a great job raising him. And we kind of see them interact a little bit as far as Millie, her sister, Greg, and his mom. But I'm just confused as to why we're not getting more time with the family and friends that are coming. Like I thought the whole point of them coming was you already know the side of, your friend or your family that's here. Is for you to talk to the person that they are here getting to know and talk to them potentially together. But maybe I misinterpreted what the point was, okay? Next to do a check-in with Tonda is Chris and Sandia. Sandia tells Tonda that she's getting the hang of it, but you can see all in Sandia's face that if you say one more thing wrong, she fitting to be on the verge of tears because she just don't know how much more of this she can take. But she tells her, they get along, and he's like, he gets along well with Jodi more than anyone else in the house. Tonda asks Chris if he's noticed anything with Jodi, like not that maybe intentionally, but just have you noticed anything with Jodi? He says that there are, it's platonic with the two of them, but what he's seeing in Sandia is mood changes. And he's like, I really just have noticed this in person. Well, y'all really ain't been talking that long, so whatever. Sandia says they really need to communicate more. And then he jumps in and tells her that he doesn't think all her feelings are valid. Say what now, sir? How you going to tell somebody that their own feelings that they feel are not valid? Where they do that at? Tonda tells him that her feelings are valid, and she asks if there's one thing they need to work on that they can agree on. Sounds like it's communication, and he's like, no, not for me. It needs to be, sir, because your communication is trash. Like you may be able to say what you need to say, but the way you say it is harsh and mean. Like, how do you treat the person that you supposedly want to build a future with like that? I don't get it. You are just a complete a-hole, Chris. He says, if she comes to me and tell me her feelings are that I'm cheating, does that make it valid? Sir, you are going way left with this. That's not what this conversation is about, but also what are your actions doing? If your actions show me that you continue to flirt, you being in other girls' faces, like, yeah, I'm going to think that you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. Don't do the action if you don't want me to assume. He says that he will basically only address something one time, and then after that, I'm just going to ignore you and we ain't going to talk about it no more. Sandia says that her concern is while she is talking to him, she doesn't want him to make her feel inferior to him. And he tells her, man, that's just your insecurity. And she starts to cry. Sandia, kick Chris in the balls, grab your things, and walk out, because this man has shown you and told you everything you need to know at this point, which means he's not ready for you. Y'all, it was at this point of the video as I was editing that I realized for some reason I lost all of my sound. So I was just talking away, but there was no sound coming out. So I just decided to do a voiceover for the last few minutes of the episode. As they are still talking to Tonda, he asks, he says that he's tried to be more considerate and asks her, have I not been more considerate? She doesn't say anything. When asked if they're compatible, Chris says they are complete opposite in some things, but he feels they have the best chemistry in the house. Chris, that is lies. We all know the best chemistry is Shay and Josh at this moment. But he says, she's the kindest, most caring girl that he's ever met. She has the same values as him because they're both Haitian, and he really feels like they can be long term. Sandia also agrees and says she sees a future with him. I don't know what dusty, crusty, blurry crystal ball they are both looking into, because y'all do not have compatibility. Y'all don't value the same things. He dismisses her feelings and her thoughts all the time. How does that equate to a long-term relationship and y'all wanting to be together? Just make it make sense. Tonda tells them that they have relationship experts that can help the two of them. Sandia is on board with seeing the relationship expert. Chris does not think they need the help. He gets a strong eye roll from me. But he's like, if you want to go, then I'll go. And that's not helping the situation. If you don't feel like you need to go, you're not going to then gain any value from going, which means you're going to be the same man that you are right now. Sandia, run, because this man is not ready to be in a relationship. We then see the couples are getting ready to have dinner. Jodi, out of all people, asks what happened with them and Tonda. Chris, of course, uses this as his opportunity to tell the group what he is feeling. And he says he thinks there's too many people in the business of other people. He's like, you just met 14 seconds ago and you got thoughts and opinions about what's happening. We know he's all talking about Diamond, but also, sir, you and Sandia have never met either. So if she met these people 14 seconds ago, then she just met you 30 seconds ago. Like, quit acting like y'all had some solid relationship before y'all came here and then now it's in trouble. But he basically is calling Sandia simple-minded, and that's when Diamond has to step in, because she's like, what you not gonna do is talk about Sandia like that in front of the rest of us. And it's like, none of us is in y'all's business. Sandia is coming and talking to him. Diamond girl, you in their business just a little bit, okay? But you got Sandia back, so I'm gonna let it slide. But you definitely was in their business a little bit, because you was asking Sandia about how things are happening. But Sandia does confide in the ladies because she does not feel like she can talk to Chris. So Diamond gets the party started and is telling, Jodi that she's tugging on Chris, saying Chris this, Chris that. Jodi defends herself and says that her conversations are no different with Chris than it is with any other guy in the house, and she's really tired of them having her name in her mouth. And I just find it funny that how every time Chris and Jodi is kind of confronted with their flirting and their relationship, how both of them always get loud and elevated. It's making y'all look real guilty in the moment, okay? Diamond is getting upset because she's like, I'm just saying what it is. Now, everybody else in here during the mute challenge, and y'all don't have nothing to say because Jodi is in the room and I'm getting no backup. Earring Aaron is asking Diamond why she didn't bring this up at any other time, and why it's now in front of the group. Well, did you forget that Chris started this? Like, Chris was the one that had the smoke and brought this to the group. So she's just putting her 2 cents in with the topic that Chris has brought up. Diamond walks away and she's telling her Aaron, fingernail polish Aaron, you know, that everybody else was quiet and he just kind of left her to fend for herself. He said that he felt like she had it handled, which is why he did not intervene. Sir, it does not matter if she has it handled. That is your lady and you have your lady's back, all right? So we then see Josh and Shay, Aaron and Diamond. They leave, they go to the Boom Boom apartment while the other couples are at the table. I don't really blame them because we know if everybody stayed, it's just going to continue to get more elevated in this moment. So Diamond, Aaron, and Shay is like, you know, they didn't even take any food and eat because they like, you know, I don't know what kind of energy is being put in that food and things like that. Josh says, I'm hungry, so I got my plate to go and I'm going to eat, okay? And Diamond then basically is saying that everybody is fake. And she even is pointing out her own bait in a confessional because she's like, you should have had my back out of everybody else. We go back inside and see the couples. And even Millie is like, oh, we just need to all work on communication. Millie, just earlier in the episode, you was like, you know, we confront her and we talk. If she come with the smoke, I'ma come with the smoke. And we basically gonna be ready to fight. But now that you were in front of her, it's like, oh, we all peaceful, kumbaya. We just trying to be one big happy family. Girl, who are you fooling? Because that's not what you said when you was talking to Sandia. All of y'all have been talking about outside. I mean, Josh has put his 2 cents in and Shay really ain't had nothing to say. But the rest of y'all have been commenting how I don't see it for, you know, for Aaron and Jodi, but we also see what's happening between Jodi and Chris. Like, Diamond was not wrong. Y'all have said it. So in that moment, y'all should have laid it out like, listen, we all can't be wrong about what we seeing and what we hearing. So what's really happening between the two of y'all? But anyway, y'all, that's how the episode ends this week. Please drop your thoughts and comments below. I really enjoyed this episode, I think, a lot because Tonda was there and Tonda was calling the people out. And I feel like in a lot of these relationship shows, we don't see the host of the show really calling the people to the carpet and saying what needs to be said on camera. And not waiting to the reunion or doing it in a confessional or anything. So I really enjoyed it. But let me know what y'all are thinking about the couples at this point. And I'll catch y'all in the video next week. Peace.